Because when you guys start practice, how long have you guys been at it?
So we actually started up on January 8th. The athletes got back and wanted to kind of get into it. It was a weird fall, I mean, because the way the academic calendar fell, some of the athletes left after Thanksgiving, and we didn't see them again until January 8th. So it was good to get them back and just kind of get back in the rhythm of things. I mean, our goal in the spring is, hey, let's get our reps in, let's get back to game speed, but then let's make sure we keep everybody healthy and safe. So, the work's done in the fall. That's when you really put the hay in the barn. But it's good to have everybody back, though, and competing.
Yeah, I guess along that level, I mean, now you're about 3 weeks away from officially the first pitch. I mean, sticking through maybe the excitement, maybe the jitters of it all again.
Yeah, I mean, as you get closer and closer, you start seeing that date get a little bit closer on the calendar, and that's the exciting part, though. Always kind of, it's like a Christmas morning, right? Like you're ready to unwrap the gifts and see what it is, all right, and see what the season brings. And excited too. We open up in Tallahassee, so a lot of familiar faces, for people on our staff, and then also for our athletes to get a chance to really play in an environment. They're coming in to number 3 or 4 in the nation right now. I think number 2 in one of the polls, and excited for that. That's a great fan base and great environment for our ladies to play in.
In the fall, who have you seen really kind of flourish and do well? And maybe you didn't see him for a month or two there, but who showed up on January 8th and is ready to go?
Yeah, I tell you what, I've been really impressed with all of our team. They came back ready. And this year's team's different. We have 10 seniors this year. So we're a senior heavy team, and all of our seniors have come back and just done a phenomenal job at just not only the performance side, but the leadership side. They've really done a good job. So hard to really bring out one person, but I tell you what, our senior classes looked really good, and I'm excited to see what they're going to bring this year.
Yeah, have y'all done anything different, or have you changed up anything in the offseason that you feel like is going to really affect this upcoming season?
Yes and no. I mean, I think tactically we're still pretty similar in what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish offensively, what we're trying to accomplish defensively. I mean, pitching, we're going to look a little bit different this year. Our new pitching coach has done a phenomenal job with our ladies and really put them in a good position to be successful. So that's been pretty cool to see for sure. Culture-wise, we continue to build it, right? We continue to lay the foundation of what we want culture-wise and what we want this program to look like, next year, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. So we're laying that foundation. In fact, today is our Tumbleweed Day. So everybody went out and found the best and biggest tumbleweed they could find in West Texas. And so we're going to showcase those in practice.
I was about to ask, what was up with the tumbleweeds? Who do you feel like is going to come out on top there?
Mine's pretty big. I don't know. Maybe it's mine. I don't know. But I don't know. We'll see what comes out. But I love the tumbleweed thing, and it's a concept we started last year, and it was more so about being all in for the program, right? Being all in for the team, and you could go out and find a stick, and hey, this is my tumbleweed. But the people that kind of really put it out there and go find the big ones, it's been pretty fun to see.
You mentioned the addition of Bryce. What was your connection to him, and I guess what kind of changes do you expect pitching wise?
Yeah, I mean Bryce has got a great pedigree. He pitched for the USA men's team, for men's fast pitch, and so he's got a really good idea of what he does and still does that. So he's one of the pen who's continuing to throw every day and throws to the team, which is always very valuable. But his pedigree is with Lonnie Alameda at Florida State. Who we've all worked for a long time and known her for a long time, and so it was, you know what you're getting there. The caliber of intent and training you're going to get with Bryce, and so I was excited to see that and have him on part of our staff.
What do you think some of the benefits are of starting off the season immediately on a road like that road environment, and don't get that comfortability of winning at home just yet?
Right. I mean, it's always a challenge, right? I mean, I think the cool thing about going on the road is we get to really kind of fall into a routine. Of when we eat and how we do things, and here's how we want to operate and stuff. But I mean, coming home is still it's always a feather in the hat, right? But I think the opportunity to get to go play some great teams early on is really helpful for us moving forward, especially as you get into Big 12 play and stuff. So play some tough competition early, and you're gonna take your lumps, and that's okay. But as long as you can fail forward and really learn from it, because that's what's going to help us in the postseason and through Big 12 play as well.
Great season, obviously. First year for you last year as well. What's some changes maybe for you personally that you would like to take in here year 2?
I think, obviously being a first-time head coach last year, I could write a 100-chapter book on things I would have done differently or things that do. But I think at the same time it was also refreshing because I had such a great staff around us, and that's the true story. And our coaching staff did a phenomenal job with really embracing what we wanted the vision to be, but then also really implementing that to the athletes. And so they've done they do a great job. And so, you know, I could name off things that I would do differently. Gosh, we don't have time for that. But I mean, but what made us successful was that coaching staff and those assistant coaches that are with us right now, and how we continue to push the culture piece and, you know, and push, you know, the performance side through here.
You mentioned the staff, and Morgan was a volunteer assistant last year, now part of the staff with the addition of a spot on the coaching staff. What has she meant as far as being able to keep her consistency-wise with the program?
Yeah, I mean, that was what a great addition for us to be able to keep her in the program, you know, because when the NCAA made those changes, you know, we was kind of waiting on pins and needles to see, you know, what were we going to do, because not every program was going to be granted that extra coach, right? Not every university could afford that, and we were so lucky that our administration backed us and said, hey, we want you to have we want you to have that extra spot. And for us to get to offer that to Morgan was a big feather in our hat, just to continue to keep that camaraderie we have with that, but her understanding how we want to grow this program. So that was a big hire for us.
What are your thoughts on 6th in the Big 12 preseason poll?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. I thought, okay, that's all right. Sounds good. You know, the preseason polls are what they are. The preseason, I think there's a lot that goes into those, and I think there's some respect in there for sure. I think some people in the conference saw the respect of what we're trying to grow, which, you know, feather in our hat. But it's also, we want to be more than that, right? You know, you want to push to be. You know, I don't want to be 6 every year. It's like, no, let's continue to keep pushing the envelope and let's grow that piece. But it is, you know, it is a change from last year where we were picked last in conference, you know, and so there's a difference in that now. And I think, you know, people are starting to see what we have coming in and how we're training and what we're doing. So I think there's a little bit of respect there. So that's, you know, I guess that's I won't say a feather in your hat, but it's nice to see that people are paying attention to what we're doing.
How big is this year for everybody in the conference, knowing the two that are picked 1 and 2 right now are out the door after this year, just to build that, and, you know, next year's preseason poll, they're not going to be part of it, so you could climb that ladder even more.
For sure. I mean, I tell you, you know, losing those two to the conference next year, you hate to see that as a conference. You know, they really bring a lot softball-wise. But then, gosh, what we bring in next year in the conference doesn't get any easier. You bring in Arizona, who is a perennial powerhouse in softball, and you bring in Arizona State, who's, you know, not too far off a World Series run, and then Utah, who was in the World Series last year. So, you know, collectively, we probably get a little bit stronger now, honestly, from a day in and day out basis. So it's exciting to see. But I mean, this conference is going to continue to be the best conference in the nation, in my opinion.
You feel pretty good. I'm not jumping past this year, but when you see number 2 class in the nation, do you feel pretty good at the trajectory, even with those other good programs coming into the conference?
I think so. I think you really, like, you know, that class was a great recruiting class for us, but also just where our program's headed. You know, I think we're going to be ready to take on those challenges, you know, and, you know, we continue to get better every day now. And I think that's the thing. We look at that as a 1,000-foot overview, but then you have to get back to, like, hey, let's be where our feet are right now, and let's really be good today, right? Let's be good today, and then let's get a little bit better tomorrow and get a little bit better tomorrow. And I think, you know, we look up after 5 years and retrace our footprints, we're going to go, oh, wow, we've traveled a long way. You know, we've really done some cool things, you know, for the program. So excited for that and excited for our process.
As far as you mentioned 10 seniors, is there a couple that you kind of want to lead the way for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we definitely have seen some great leadership from Abby Orrick this year. You know, Alana Barraza has been another one. You know, Riley Love. Those three have really done a great job at leading the program and putting us in a great spot. And so I've been excited for what they've brought to the program, and, you know, to see them grow from last year to this year too, I think is really. I get excited about that, you know, because that's our job, right? We want to continue to grow these leaders and get them in a spot, and I think they're ready to take this team and run with it.
Couple of transfers as well.
Mm-hmm.
What impact Barnhart, right, and then the pitcher from Charlotte.
Maddie Wright. Yeah. So we had 3 transfers. So we had, you know, Aubrey Barnhart, Jenna Lord, and Maddie Wright. You know, I'm excited. I mean, I think all are going to contribute in some way, you know, and so, you know, 2 of the 3 I've known for a long time, and so when you see all their name hit the portal, you know, I like the familiarity. I know what they're culture people. They know what we're about, and so it was good to bring them in. And then Maddie Wright, you know, she's a mid-year transfer for us that has had a great year at Charlotte, and, you know, decided that, hey, this is, you know, she wants one more shot at this, and we were a great fit for her. You know, she's from Texas. She has roots in Lubbock, family in Lubbock, and so I think getting to play in front of her family for the first time in her career was something she was really excited about. And for us, that's just going to make us deeper on the pitching staff-wise.
I promise, last one.
Yeah.
Kaylee, I mean, it's hard to top what she did last year, but thankfully you got her for 3 more years at least, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Katie's. I mean, and continues to get better. You know, I mean, she put up some phenomenal numbers last year, but she continues to get better right now. And, you know, she's more vocal now. She's really comfortable in her own skin now, which is really good to see. And so, you know, the big thing we talk about a lot, though, is like you don't have to repeat last year, you know, because that's going to be the question. It's going to be, right, how do you repeat last year? How do you do this again? How do you put up those numbers? And the answer is, well, you don't. You continue to just get better each day, right? And you let the chips fall where they may, because if you fall in love with that process, I know that sounds really coachy, but it's so true, though, if you fall in love with that, like, good things are going to continue to happen in her career. But she's had a phenomenal preseason, had a great fall, so I'm excited to see what comes with that this year with her.
I only got one. So you mentioned the hire that you got for your pitching staff, and he had worked at Florida State with McKenna Reed and Allison Royalty and Catherine Sandercock and Mac Leonard and all those, as well as I believe the back tail end of Megan King and Watson's career. What are some of the differences that you've seen with your staff since bringing him on?
Yeah, I think there's a good understanding of what they're trying to do on the mound. I think there's a really good understanding of, you know, how to attack hitters now, but also just, you know, some basic posture, you know, adjustments to make sure that we can spin the ball up and down. We can do some things. We can attack hitters, and you know, and know that it's okay to fail, right? And so he's done a really good job of that, you know, and he's been able to take that, you know, away from, you know, what they did at Florida State, who I think is some of the top developers, and you know, when it comes to pitching staff, and so. Yeah, and I think our staff's going to look completely different this year.